I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form. I'm spiritual in all ways. With that being said, I want to explain some of the major stories from the Bible, and I'm going to start with one that uses my specific name and shows you that in every representation, Daniel means truth. Now, I'm not trying to sound cool because my name is Daniel, because it took me a long time to actually get out of my own head and my ego life to understand that I was the truth. I am the truth, and it actually comes along with the rest of your name. If your name doesn't coincide with Daniel, the other names following it can actually lead you to being the truth in some negative way, or according to how you've learned that truth from your own ego point. Now, with that being said, the simple definitions, look at this. D. Now look at a D. Lowercase d is on the left side of a line. Capital D is on the right side of a line reaching out. So it's the doorway, the director, the doer. Dia. A. Activity, something that is activated. So you've gone through a doorway of activity. Then you have an N, which is now, notion, or nature. So you've gone through a doorway of activation, nature, now. Now you've identified with that. You've identified with that. D-A-N-I-E-L. Through a doorway, activated, nature, identified. So I've gone through the doorway, I've activated the way things are. So Dan is the prime form of how things are done or doing. Okay, Dan. Through the doorway, active, nature, identified. Now with that identified truth, doing as nature identifies, you express, because E is the expression on the bottom line. E, you express that in a 3D world. So truth in a 3D world, if it's acting divinely true, Daniel would mean truth, because you are through the doorway of action now identifying the expressed 3D world as it lie. Now, in, identified, now. Hey, it's in this thing that you're identifying. Identified, now, or the identified notion. Now, Daniel and the lines then would say active, nature, through itself. So something's already here, and we're going to activate what we're talking about, and now we're going to put something else with it, through it, and. So we could say and, or we could say in, identified now. The plus here expressed, or thing here expressed. That's what the is. The tree, the apple, the man, okay? Plus here expressed. Lion's den, 3D as it lies, ongoing, or identified, ongoing notion. So 3D as it lies, identified, ongoing notion. So however people are doing it. If you're a lion, you're a 3D identified, ongoing notion. You know, think about it. And if you want to go into a den, it's a through a doorway expressed notion. That N is where you're at right now, that notion. So a den is a through expressed notion. It's where you live or where you dwell. So Daniel is through active notion, identified, expressed in the 3D world. In, identified now, the, plus here expressed. Lions, 3D as it lies, identified, ongoing notion. Den, dia, or through the doorway of, expressed notion, your body or your den, where you dwell. So Daniel in the lion's den means truth in a place where the liars dwell. See? That's what Daniel in the lion's den means. If it's not, please tell me what it really means. You have a whole big story to it, but that story distracts you from what words mean. And in that story, I could break down every single word and tell you how it is and how it's wrong, because other people have commandeered the control of it so that your minds, as you study these things, go the way they want you to think. I'm not saying this because I want you to think that way. I'm saying it because it's true. Now let's look at the simple word like Daniel, doorway through, active notion, identified, expressed in the 3D world. Now just change around a couple letters. Denial, through a doorway, expressed notion. So you're in this den, and that's what you identify with. The AL is on the other side of the den because it's active 3D as it lies. So basically, you're going to stay in your den and identify with that, but the active 3D truth as it lies, you're going to deny it. That's what denial means. Daniel, by switching the A and IE, instead of having an E, then an IA, see how it goes E, IA, then it goes A, IE. Say, if you want to say A as an active, then say I, then identified, then expressed. It's actively identified, then expressed. Or you can say it's expressed. Now you identify with that, and you're going to activate with that. That's what denial means. I'm going to think what I want to think, and if you think you're right, I don't care. That's what denial means. It's the opposite of Daniel. See what I mean? If you A-N-D, it's like active, notion, through. So I'm going to do this and that. If this ends, you're expressing that notion through itself. It's end. It's ended. See what I mean? I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm trying to make it simple. It's just getting very frustrating when my livelihood as a human being in a body is being threatened by people who don't want to understand that there is a truth and there is a right or correct and a wrong and an incorrect. And right now, we're allowing people to control us with a money system that is totally incorrect. Nature does not need money. I don't care what you've done in your lifetime up to this point. If you have done something that was out of alignment with the universal patterns, you are doing wrong. You aren't doing right because you're listening to people who are wrong and just trying to be comfortable there. It doesn't make it easy, but the truth is not easy to deal with, especially when I live with it 24/7. Every moment of every day, I remember everything that's ever happened and everything that is going to happen. I could show people how that works, but if I did that, it would be very dangerous because their thoughts would start coming true. I have to keep my actual personal thoughts, whether you believe it or not, in very, very strict control. Because when I let go of it and I start giving up or feeling negative or wishing that this was that way or wishing that that was that way, it happens in such a divine way that it hurts people. And this thing goes wrong and that thing goes wrong. Now, it's not like the whole world depends on me, but I am in contact with the creator of the universe, not in a way that is storybook or fairy tale or some YouTube video, channel trying to get you to join up and subscribe. No, I am in connection with the creator and I exactly understand it all. I don't need a scientist. I don't need a philosopher. I don't need a guru because God is my guru. The creator is my guru. In fact, God is me. Just like it's in you and it's in this body. But guess what? This body is just now a shell that Dan Alexander once was. And it is the truth. It is God speaking through the body in which he inhabited to be the truth for the humanity that is here in this present time space. I'm not doing this because I want anything from you. I'm doing this because saving your soul is my responsibility now that I know how. Letting other people save your bank account or letting other people save your comfort is going in the wrong direction, whether you want to face it or not. I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Peace and God bless.